Well, have you decided to enroll in our guild, or are you now intimidated by the thought of excessive thinking? Marie wishes to reaffirm your desire to join the Arcanist Guild. Your sound judgment is to be commended. Now, standard practice dictates I introduce you to our guild master that you may convey your intentions in person. Due to extraordinary circumstances, however, he is unreachable at the present. Instead, you may speak to Mistress Thurbergym. She has shouldered full responsibility for the guild's leadership in the intern. You'll find her just over there, by the bookshelves. You needn't be shy. Though her mind is sharp and critical, her manner is always most welcoming. Yes, I'm Thurbergym. Greetings and welcome to the Arcanist Guild. As Marie has doubtly explained, I am serving as acting guildmaster until our wayward leader deigns to return. I assume our capable receptionist also spoke of our art's origins. Allow me then to expound on its nature. Arcanima taps into the living energies of Aether. The evidence of this is represented most aptly, perhaps, by our ability to manifest the arcane entity Carbuncle and the manner of magic which this etherical ally employs at our command. The core of this discipline, however, is found in the pursuit of definitive solutions to any potential quandary, even on the field of battle. Nay, especially on the field of battle, this principle takes precedence. If one wishes to make certain of the question of victory, then one must apply the most effective strategy. An Arcanist is measured by his ability to calmly analyze a situation from moment to moment and respond with the most appropriate spells at hand. The study of Arcanima will test your mental faculties to the point of perplexity. Are you prepared to reason your way through the predicament after predicament? Are you prepared to reason? Sure. An unambiguous response, the kind I most prefer. Let us now see if the clarity of your words is matched by the sharpness of your mind. In Lower La Nasi, you will find among others 3 species of pests, wharf rats, little ladybugs, and lorei. I ask you to employ your skill in Arcanima to eradicate 3 of each type of creature. Leave the city through the Tempest Gate, and you will soon encounter the potential targets in abundance. As long as you remain focused, I do not foresee these opponents causing you or your budding abilities undue difficulty. Once you return from completing the preliminary trial, I will welcome you as an official member of the Arcanist Guild. May your judgment remain swift and clear. I see that the creatures beyond the city walls pose you little threat. It is with great pleasure, then, that I formally recognize you in your initiation into the guild. From this day forth, you may proudly bear the title of Arcanist. I suggest you continue your forays into the wilderness and keep the pages of your grimoire turning. There is no finer teacher than the harsh mistress of experience. And to commemorate this occasion, I gift you with this hunting log. The enemies marked within its pages have been specifically chosen to challenge your abilities in Arcanima. When you devise a new strategy or tactic, you now have a ready source of opponents on which to test it. When you feel that you can command Carbuncle as easily as you might move your own limbs, return to me for further instruction. I will be waiting. Acting Guildmaster Thurbagem wishes to assess the improvement of your Arcanima skills. Ah, Raid, isn't it? Are you eating well? An empty stomach distracts the mind and leads to hurried judgment. I must oft remind my Arcanists to take meals. So ensconced do they become in their studies. Speaking of which, have you been practicing your tactics with Carbuncle? I believe it's time to assess the improvement of your skills. As with your previous trial, I'll have you defeat foes in Lower Nausea. 3 wild dodos and 3 tiny mantigoras, to be precise. Watch carefully the behavior of your opponents, formulate an effective strategy, and utilize your arcane entity to its fullest potential. I expect you back in time for lunch. Welcome back, Raid. It appears your coordination with Carbuncle is progressing at a satisfactory pace. Shall we test your growing acumen with a more practical examination? Our work at Mielvin's Gate requires us to inspect and record the contents of incoming cargo. To simulate such a task, I've had several crates transported to the cliffs south of Zypher Gate. I want you to examine those crates, then return the inspected cargo here to me. You would be surprised at the depths to which some merchants will sink to deter our customs agents from performing thorough investigations. False bottoms, rotting foodstuffs, flesh-eating vilekin. I suggest you be prepared for any eventuality. I am not a threat. Pray ignore my presence for the present and allow me a moment to cogitate. The reaction to my sudden appearance was within expected parameters, but I must admit I did not expect so proficient a performance against the enemies set against you. Yet, effective though your tactics were, I spied much room for improvement. As I watched you battle, the wheels of my mind whirled into motion, as they wont to do, inventing other possible strategies you might have employed. Let's see. Taking into account your current level of ability, factoring in a Aether constant, multiplying the number of opponents, and applying your tactics to other potential combat scenarios. Oh dear, my calculations indicate failure upon encountering threat level 9,785. Well, we'll just have to see what we can do about that. Though the opportune window to do so has passed, I would nevertheless introduce myself. I am Kalea, a Milven's Gate Assessor. Acting Guildmaster Thurbigen elected me to oversee your training and provide any necessary guidance and instruction in the field of Arcanima. From what I have observed thus far, you have an admirable grasp of the fundamentals. I do, however, wish to confirm one small detail. Regarding your choice of arcane geometries, what factor most influences your actions during battle? Desire to outwit an enemy? Potential for amusement? I simply do what feels right. Desire to outwit an enemy. Aha! Just as I predicted. And now I have the final element to perform another calculation. The probability of you becoming an Arcanist of note is 90%, give or take 0.5%. Yes, the certainty is quite high. After all, I only know of one other practitioner who responded to my question in the same manner. It was the man who bestowed upon me this grimoire, the Guildmaster himself. While an inscrutable leader is, as I'm sure you've heard, on indefinite leave of absence, he did leave us with a most notorious saying to date. Strategy is a tool used to manipulate one's situation into a desired reality. No matter how gifted you and I might be, however, the instantaneous manipulation of reality that might cause us to suddenly become mighty Arcanists is beyond our present abilities. Discipline and experience is the finest strategy in this case. I suggest you continue to focus on refining your aptitude with Carbuncle. Mastery with an arcane entity will greatly improve your success as a yielder of Arcanima. Here ends your lesson for today. Pray return directly to the guild. I believe Mr. Thurbigen is awaiting some inspected cargo. And what of myself? I'm off to the fields, of course. The tactics I reasoned out earlier must be attempted in real-life scenarios. Theory is all well and good, but there is no substitute for actual combat. We will meet again soon. Ah, Raid, you have returned to the cargo. The wooden cargo crate used by Milven's Gate to train new assessors. Yes, everything seems to be in order, relatively clear of blood and other gore. I can be something of a problem in our profession, you understand. I also had word from Kalaya regarding your performance. She seemed eager to continue your training. Not alas, I'll admit, but the guild can boast no finer mind for tactics. You would do well to heed the instructions she offers, particularly that which touches on the diligent approach to our art. Did you perhaps notice the battered tome Kalaya carries? That initiate's grimoire has served her from the day she entered the guild. She has her reasons, but it's admittedly strange to see it kept all the way to her present position as Foreseer. I fear such an intense focus on Arcanima has led her to overlook other important aspects of life. As our master strategist guides your Arcanist training, I hope you might return the favor and help her broaden her own perspectives somewhat. But enough of such matters at the moment. You have done well this day, Raid. Continue your practice with Carbuncle as Kalaya has bid. I will be here when the time comes for your next lesson. Acting Guildmaster Thubajim wishes to assess the improvement of your Arcanima skills. Yes, Ray, the time has come for your next lesson is upon us. You are keeping well, I trust, taking the occasional brisk walk. One cannot form sound thoughts if one fails to maintain a sound body. Now, assuming you have been following Kalaya's instructions, you should be ready to face the more dangerous threats found in western La Nucia. I speak of roselings and wild jackals, and yes, I would have you vanquish 3 of each. 'Tis the perfect sample size. The first acts as a preliminary test case, the second to test your hypothesis, and the third to perfect the tactics you've devised. Speaking of which, I trust your strategy will consist more than simply flinging ruin over and over again. You are not the novice you once were, and your skills in the field ought to reflect that. If you find yourself wanting for other approaches, consider an assault with ruin in tandem with attacks from your carbuncle. When timed appropriately, you can deal a crippling blow to your opponent. Welcome back, Raid. How did it feel to conquer such ferocious foes? Let's ride that wave of triumph onto an even more demanding and dangerous challenge. Your next training exercise will have you accompanying Forseer Kalaya on one of her inspections. This experience will afford you the opportunity to witness firsthand the practical application of Arcanima. Pray do not tarry, Raid. Kalaya awaits you on the floor below with further details. A timely appearance, as I expected. Shall we proceed directly to the job at hand? I have been tasked with examining the wares of a goblin peddler caravan run by the Boylestocks family. Our agents suspect these beastmen merchants of dealing in forbidden goods. As such, I have calculated announcing an inspection has a 60% chance of inviting physical violence. I have prepared a strategy to respond to this possible shift in hostilities, but there is an important precondition you should be made aware of before we discuss the finer points of my plan. Though I am considered gifted in the formation of tactics, I lack the reflexes and coordination necessary to employ many of those self-same strategies on the field of battle. Pray keep this factor in mind and adjust your perceptions accordingly. Now, should the goblins offer battle, you are to execute combat pattern 1345, otherwise known as stratagem focus fire. You and your carbuncle will concentrate your attacks on a single foe, and one by one, the enemy will wither under the combined onslaught. Probability of victory, 95%. Reports place the peddlers in the vicinity of the cookpot, in middle of La Nucia. I will depart immediately to assess the situation. Seek me out once you have arrived. I am Forseer Kalaya of the Milven's Gate. You are to cease all transactions and surrender your goods for inspection. Nasty, sneaky beakers! Got me spit on up their nosy eyes and stabby iron! A predictably aggressive response. Very well, Raid. Remember what we have discussed. Raid now! Raid now! Execute stratagem, focus fire! Strike now with all your might! Do not forget the precondition. Adjust your tactics accordingly. Raid, switch to combat pattern 2538, evasive maneuvers. An excellent decision. Your combat style gives me an idea. I must formulate a new tactic. The battlefield is yours. Nicely done. Adaptation, improvisation. I might have been observing our beloved guildmaster himself in action. This was the perfect example of how the strategy for a given task should be tailored to the abilities of the assessor. In other words, before you begin formulating your tactics, it is necessary to fully understand your own strengths and weaknesses. On that note, there's another question I'd ask you. When it comes to improving the probable success of a strategy, do you consider it more effective to concentrate on playing to your strengths or showing up your weaknesses? Enhancing my strengths. Aha! You again respond as the guildmaster once did. I must revise the probability for your potential to attain greatness to 97%. You're one to keep an eye on, that much is certain. But to return to the subject of battle plans, your calculations must include an accurate assessment of the available techniques and their relative effectiveness. This requires you to be critically aware of your own limits, the limits of your allies, and the characteristics of your enemies. I believe that covers everything for today. Please return to the guild and make your report to Mistress Thabergem. Until next we meet. I shall abide here until the Yellow Jackets arrive to take the peddlers into custody. My strategies will keep me company. Back from the field, Raid. Kalaya contacted me with a summary of events. It seems you are treated to a lecture on knowing thyself. That particular lesson is ordinarily taught only to intermediate practitioners. Without a sufficient store of combat experience on which to draw, it is difficult to fully appreciate the profundity of such a seemingly simple truth. Nevertheless, I feel confident that you'll soon be ready for a more ambitious assignment. Keep to your studies and maintain the razor edge of your mind. One last thing, Ray. Considering the dedication you have shown toward our discipline, I decided to permit you leave to explore the teachings offered by other guilds. I would suggest, however, that you first master the science of Arcanima. The strategic training you receive here will serve you well no matter the path you eventually choose to walk. Return to me when your reason tells you the time is right. Acting Guildmaster Thabergem wishes to inform you of an important task. You seem tired, Raid. Are you sleeping properly? One's reasoning can suffer without sufficient rest and recuperation. Should you deem yourself fit for duty, pray make your way down to the practice floor. Foreseer Kalaya has requested you accompany her on another official inspection. There is, however, a requirement for your participation. The Foreseer will explain the situation. I was beginning to think I miscalculated, Raid. Thank you for coming. I will soon be boarding a trading vessel suspected of smuggling. All merchant ships that make use of Limsa Lamensis ports are subject to inspection by Milven's Gate assessors. It is a routine I perform daily. In the case of smugglers, however, there is a 75% probability of encountering resistance. Thus, I'd appreciate your company during this assignment. It is now that we must discuss the requirement of which you are informed. Though I have full confidence in your martial expertise, it is imperative that you first acquire the ability to summon Topaz Carbuncle. Such knowledge will be released to your contingent on the acceptance of this duty. Do I accept this booty? Sure. Very good. The arcane entity given form by the Topaz geometry will further expand your offensive capabilities. With such an ally at your command, even the harshest of enemies will falter before you. Indeed, we could not conduct these dangerous spot inspections without its support. Please return to Mrs. Thabagem and inform her of your participation. I will join you once I have completed some final adjustments to my tactical formulae. Okay. You agree to accompany the Forcia, then I shall gladly instruct you on the use of Topaz Carbuncle. Pray do not hesitate to employ this entity in combat should the inspection turn sour. Acting Guildmaster Thurbagem is awaiting the arrival of inspection party members. The mercenaries Gisfin and Esethota are here to assist with the inspection. Both are old hands when it comes to escorting Kalaya during her more dangerous duties. Well met, Raid. My spells are at your disposal. This won't be the first time we're expecting trouble, but as long as we follow the Forcia's tactics and keep a clear head, we'll come out through just fine. The Morning Star is preparing to dock in Aleport. We'll meet our first challenge, however, before we even board the vessel. It is most certainly that the merchant ship has hired a thug or two to accost us at the pier. I calculate the probability at 98%. The crew wish to avoid attacking us on deck, you see, as that would all but trumpet their criminal intentions to the world at large. Now, once we do manage to clear the rails, we will face a deck crowded with armed soldiers. For a small party such as ours, the most effective strategy will be to incapacitate individual foes as swiftly as possible. Each opponent we down is one less weapon raised against us. It is imperative that we do not allow ourselves to become entangled in multiple drown-out skirmishes lest we be overwhelmed. I call this stratagem hammerfall. Strategy is a tool used to manipulate one's situation into the desired reality. Keep those words in mind, Raid. It is time we departed. Let us regroup before the main gates of Aleport. We're counting on you to cut us a path to the landing boat. The Forcia will be safe with us. Let us be about our task, Raid. Pray inform the steersman at the pier that we are ready to conduct our inspection. Should violence be offered, you are to execute stratagem hammerfall. Do not forget, your tactics are both your shield and your weapon.
You're the folks from Milven's Gate. Hells, I knew there'd be trouble. Well then, I'm certainly glad you can handle yourself. You'll find the bloody boat just down there at the end of this ramp. I'll have no part of what comes next, though.
Deftly handled, Raid. Once again, I'm reminded of our guildmaster. Thanks to your efficient response, we'll be able to commence this inspection earlier than I calculated. We shall board the merchant vessel out in the bay. Esthota, if you would take the rudder, the Morning Star awaits. Since a welcoming party at the pier failed to deter us, I expect, within a probability of 85%, that our arrival will incite further belligerence. Our objective, however, is not to trade blows, but to gain access to the hold. It may behove us to employ stratagem hardhead. The aim of our opponents is to buy time so the suspect goods may be tossed into the ocean. I do not intend to give them that time. We will bull our way through toward the cargo hold as quickly as we can. It is a tactic fraught with risk, but one that your presence makes possible. Shall we begin? I'm Forcia Kalaya. By the authority of Melvin's Gate, I request you surrender your goods for assessment.
Well now, your timing couldn't be worse, lass. The old door's rusted up, you see. Bloody thing won't open. You'll have to come back another day after we've fixed the hinges.
I will see that cargo now! Any vessel entering a port of Limsa Lomensa is bound by law to submit to a routine inspection.
The law, is it? Lads, I reckon it's time for our guests had themselves a little accident. Pitch him over the side!
Commence stratagem hardhead! Raid, it's Topaz's carbuncle's time to shine! Athena must be protected foremost. A masterful display, Raid. Now we can finally gain access to their cargo.
What have we here then? It's one of the bitch Admiral's lapdogs scampering about me ship. You're just like your mistress, always stinking your nose and where it ain't invited.
No, it can't be.
Ha! Recognize me pretty face, did ye?
But you are caught, exiled. Forcia, are you hurt? Can you stand? Stay back! You stay away from me! Forcia, please, calm down. What are your orders?
I've had enough of your whimpering, and I've certainly had enough of these bloody books. It's clear you ain't learning anything from them. Reckon it's time you got a different kind of lesson.
Kalaya! Navika, preserve us! She's fainted! We must withdraw! Raid, quickly! Back to the boat! We'll carry the Forcia!
Ah, that's right. You slink on back to your mistress, you worthless curs.
We'll take care of Kalaya. You best return to the Arcanist Guild and report to Mr. Sturbajim. It's good to see you well, Raid. Geisfrin sent word ahead of your travails. An unfortunate turn of events, but considering the infamous black art you faced, you might have fared much worse. Have you heard of the pirate Dosmaga? He was exiled from Limsalominsi some years ago, but it appears he has chosen to defy the Admiral's orders. And once more he dares lay a hand on Forcia Kalaya. The poor lass must have been terrified. If I had known Dosmaga was aboard that ship, I never would have assigned her to that duty. The assessor may require some time to recover. For Kalaya, that man is a nightmare made flesh. Though her physical wounds will soon mend, there is little we can do to salve the hurt to her mind. Are you concerned? Angry, mayhap? Harness that energy and channel it into your training. I predict we shall be needing your skills again before long. Acting Guildmaster Thurbajim appears unusually distressed. Greetings, Raid. In such doubts fill your mind, you should know that I am ever willing to lend an ear if you find your thoughts troubled. At the very least, I would have you know this, because it seems that Kalaya does not. The Forcia has been missing since this morning. There have been other times where she has disappeared without a word, but we have always been able to find her. Alas, that is not the case this day. Were the Guildmaster here, you could deduce her whereabouts with nary a moment's concentration. I find myself beginning to wonder if those who devote themselves overmuch to Arcanima are more prone to bouts of wanderlust. But while I might wish to ponder further such oddities of character, we must needs organize a search party. Would you be so kind as to make inquiries in Hawker's Alley? It is not uncommon for Kalaya's wanderings to take a path through the markets. You seek a Makote agent in Melvin's Gate? Why, yes, I've seen her. Spoke with her, in fact. She was, however, apprehended by the Yellow Jackets. The Accessor was drilling me for details about a Kakiran smuggling ring based in Aleport, but then the soldiers arrived and took her away. If you wish to know her fate, I suggest you speak to Gnad of the Coral Tower. Forcia Kalaya? Yes, we brought her in for questioning regarding the reappearance of the pirate Dozmaga. A member of the Arcanist Guild, are you? Then I see no reason to conceal the nature of our discourse. Perhaps you are aware of this, but the Forcia was once held captive by that rabid sea dog. Few pirates sink to such depths of depravity as Dozmaga. It has been 6 years now since he was exiled from Limsa and engaging in the worst kind of black market trading. And now the villain has returned. He is, however, both cunning and cautious, and continually evades our troops. Thus we hope to borrow the knowledge of Forcia Kalaya, whose experiences have given her an intimate familiarity with the way the scoundrel operates. At least, that was our intent. After weathering a barrage of questions from the assessor, we found ourselves instead providing the details of our search. Should you wish to speak to Forcia Kalaya, I imagine she's already returned safely to your guild. Back already? Were you led to believe that she returned here? I'm afraid not. So the Yellow Jackets told you something of her history with Dozmaga, did they? Perhaps it would be best if I told the entire tale. Dozmaga's banishment was the result of a surprise inspection that revealed his involvement with an underground slave trade. The Accessor that stepped aboard the pirate's merchant ship spoke of finding dozens of unwashed unfortunates crammed into that squalid hold. Among these prisoners was a young Makote, destined for some black market auction block. Though Kalaya was initially too terrified to even speak, the guildmaster brought her out of her fearful days with a gift of an initiate's grimoire. Yes, the selfsame tome that she has carried her entire career. Of course. Did you not mention that Kalaya's grimoire was thrown into the sea? There are rumors that a Kikiran merchant of ill repute has retrieved the black market goods the crew of the Morningstar heaved into the ocean. Even now he gloats over his salt-encrusted catch in Aleport. It is entirely possible that the Forcia's most prized possession was caught up in the Kikiran salvage net. I've no doubt that Kalaya has reached the same conclusion. To Aleport with you, Raid. That is where you'll find our wayward assessor. Whoops. Yes. Combat Pattern 256 should serve to cover all expected contingencies. You never know when you'll have to nullify a thaumaturge or two. My retrieval strategy is complete. Raid, it's good of you to come. I was unable to calculate for certain if you would piece together my movements in time. Very little is certain when so many variables are involved. But there is good news. The prisoner here was kind enough to confirm that the trader who salvaged the Morningstar's jettisoned cargo did indeed retrieve a tome matching the description of my lost grimoire. Limits law and the policies of Melvin's Gate would support the confiscation of goods connected to an official inspection. But alas, my personal belongings do not fall under that definition. Thus I intend to launch an unofficial offensive against this black marketeer and his cronies. The peddler has already departed for Candlekeep Quay. It is time I gathered to me such allies as I possess, and I count you as one of them, Raid. Despite the nature of this endeavor, Mr. Thauberjim, Mistress Thabagem has offered me her cooperation. If you would, pray join at Oshrin's embrace. That is where we will wait. That is where we shall ambush this disreputable Kikrin. Greetings, Raid. Your arrival completes our small company. You're equipped for battle, I trust. We need not await Kalaya's arrival. Once the Kikrin appears on the bridge, we spring our ambush. The strategy for trapping our target relies on the two allies we have concealed on the other side of the ravine. This pincer maneuver was, naturally, the Foreseer's idea. The Kikrin is known as a careful and cautious fellow. He travels with a small retinue so as to avoid attracting attention. But do not be fooled. More bodyguards follow at a distance and will likely join the fray after hostilities ensue. Do not, however, expect any assistance from the Yellow Jackets. They cannot be seen aiding us in what amounts to a personal matter, but they are willing to turn a blind eye for Kalaya's sake. In any case, the Foreseer's tactics account for our limited numbers and individual strengths. Victory is all but assured. Now let us take up our positions and wait for the Kikrin to arrive.
The ambushers! They want Kikrin Sparklies! Ambush them back!
Your foul trade is a blight on Limsa Lomitsa. Surrender your goods at once. Yes, friend. Aristota, now!
Kikrin, no scared! Kikrin has scary spell slingers!
Conjurers, just as Kalaya predicted. We shipped combat pattern 158. Raid, focus on the conjurers and plug their heels.
Be late for business! This business be bad for you!
Raid, I spy a thaumaturge. Quickly, switch to combat pattern 256. Even a lone mage can wreak untold havoc. Focus your attacks on the thaumaturge first. That appears to be the last of them. Now to find the Foreseer's grimoire. Well executed, everyone. Were you able to retrieve my grimoire? Raid, pray hand over the tome. It's ruined. My wonderful grimoire is ruined. The probability of repairing this degree of damage is 0%. Even the most brilliant strategy cannot undo the such ravages of seawater. I've never felt so defeated. I believe it is time I return home.
Leave her be.
But how can I? He's right, Asatota. You must allow Kalaya time to process the loss. And you have other matters to which you must attend. Come, Raid. It is time we return to the guild as well.
We'll clean up here. No one will even suspect a fight took place.
Please take care, Foreseer Kalaya. Quite the victory we imagined, was it? The moment Kalaya beheld her soaked in tattered grimoire, you could see the light of hope die in her eyes. There is, however, something we can do. I will call upon your aid soon, but in the meantime you will be well served to deepen your knowledge of Arcanima. Acting Guildmaster Thabajim would have your assistance tracking down a certain someone. Have you come to ask about Kalaya's condition? The Foreseer is unchanged. She walks about as if all the joy in life has been leached from her soul. I believe the only one who can help her now is the same person who broke Kalaya out of her shell the first time, our absent Guildmaster. And, though I am leery of the coincidence, the man himself has at long last been spotted. Should you seek out his last known location, it is unlikely he'll still be there, and even should you catch him, he may not deign to speak with you. Nonetheless, this may be our only chance. Pray travel to Memorune's trading post in Upper La Nocia, and speak with anyone who might have seen the Guildmaster. Oh, and one more thing. Though he prefers us not to use it for some inexplicable reason, our leader's name is Kirtia.
Morning, sir. I was the one who sent word to your guild about spotting your leader. It is the right rare sight to see Kirtia roaming about. He asked me the way to the Thalos. Could be he was seeking to speak with the scholar who lives out there.
Hello there! Why, yes, I did receive a visit from a gentleman identifying himself as the Arcanist Guildmaster. An odd fellow, but obviously possessed of a well-rounded education. As it so happens, he bid me pass on a message to anyone who came searching for him. Reunited, the 3 slips of parchment hold the problem to the solution. The Guildmaster mentioned that the slips of parchment are concealed among the bones of Thalos. I suppose you are expected to search for them. Have you tracked down those 3 slips of parchment? Both sides are filled with letters and markings unlike any you've seen in yours yet. Interesting. They actually exist. To be perfectly honest, I thought you had been sent on a wild dodo chase. Let's have a look at these, shall we? Well, well, penned in ancient Allegan, no less. Fortunately for you, I have a passing familiarity with the script. Seek the box at Fool Falls. Dance a jig for your wooden audience. Claim the secret from the open heart. A most cryptic set of instructions, I must say. Do you intend to follow them? This guildmaster of yours certainly enjoys his games. Oops. Oh well. Whee! Box rattles and thumps about as something within seeks to be freed. It appears the lid has been loosened somewhere. Find a slip of parchment inside the box. If there are answers you would seek, then go to the trading post. Now go. Before the owner, be not meek. With your 2 feet, provide a show.
That was most entertaining. I must have something to amuse me during these little jaunts back to civilization, you understand. Based on my evaluation of your abilities, however, I calculated that you would arrive at this point somewhat earlier. You balked at the dancing, didn't you? I never expected you to be so shy. Another variable to add to your list of characteristics. I keep extensive mental notes of all the guild's members, you see. As an Arcanist, it was a simple matter to engineer events so that I might meet you face to face. After all, strategy is a tool used to manipulate one's situation into the desired reality. And I do so enjoy seeing others dance in the palm of my hand, as it were. Here, you may have this. Think of it as payment for your performance. Though you might consider passing the tome to Kalaya. That is the reason why you sought me out, was it not? Before you give Kalaya the grimoire, however, I must insist that you dance for her. I will know if you don't. All this banal interaction has simply exhausted me. It is time I return to my studies. You, on the other hand, should travel forthwith to the anchor yard in Limsa Lomensa. Be well, Raid. We shall meet again. I'm 100% certain of it.
Were you always one for dancing? I don't recall such Ah, you have met with our guildmaster, haven't you?
Have you met with the guildmaster?
Yes. That'll explain your odd behavior. He does so enjoy seeing people perform unexpected acts of frivolity. But what could have spurred our reticent guildmaster to speak with you in person?
The leather binding of this recently crafted tome is uncracked, its pages still crisp.
He gave you this grimoire to give to me? Uncanny. It's identical to the tome I received the first time I ever met our leader. You have my thanks, Raid. The guildmaster is fond of games and mischief, and I understand the troublesome travels he likely put you through before deeming you worthy of his attention. With this gift, however, his message to me is abundantly clear. I am to shape reality into one I desire. And that means defeating Dazmaga. Gods, my mind is alive again with strategies. I must have time to think. Pray inform Mr. Stabbagem of my return to duty. Kalaya has recovered from her despondency. That is wonderful news, and we have you to thank for it. It is unfortunate, however, that both Kalaya and our guildmaster are possessed of such impenetrable personalities, but at least in the case of the Foreseer, we have an inkling as to the nature of the cage that imprisons her. I continue to hope that her partnership with you shall gradually pry those bars apart. Return to your training, Raid, and prepare yourself for the demanding tactics Kalaya is sure to formulate in the days ahead.
Acting Guild Master Thabagem has instructions for you from Foreseer Kalaya.
I've been expecting you, Raid. As ever, Kalaya's predictions prove accurate almost down to the moment, and her mind is especially sharp with such a dangerous confrontation in the offing. The Yellow Jackets have contacted us with word of Dazmaga. It appears his merchant vessel is presently anchored off the coast of Bloodshore. Once the pirate's business there is concluded, rumor has it he intends to embark on an extended voyage to the east. It will be some time before he returns once more to Limsa Lomensa. If we pass up this opportunity, Kalaya will lose her chance to settle the score with Dazmaga, and we risk the Forseer stumbling once more into the blackest melancholy. Simply getting close enough to Dazmaga will prove difficult. Kalaya has, however, already formulated a solution, and has set her grand strategy into motion. Your first task of this undertaking is to travel to Costa del Sol and deliver this set of directions to a fisherman by the name of Rilzinerin. More instructions will be forthcoming.
What is it you want, lad? As you can see, I have my hands full with me fishing.
A short list of orders drafted by Milvin's Gate Assessor Kalaya.
Ah, thanks for that. I've been totally expecting. Here, you're to take one of me errands and deliver it to the cook, Apilona.
Yes, how may I help you? Master Jijiruju is expecting his midday meal any moment now. The herring's so fresh it still flaps its fins in one final desperate attempt to propel itself from your pack, through the air, and back into the sweet salt water it once called home. A fresh herring? Why, the master does enjoy a bite of boiled fish of an afternoon. This might even earn me a few extra coins for this week's wages. Well, you have earned yourself one of my homemade eel pies. I should tell you, though, your Arcanist colleague was quite insistent you take this pie to Master Jijiruju rather than scoff it down yourself.
And what brings you to my, and I use the term facetiously, humble abode, dear sir?
Such a heavenly aroma. Are you perchance carrying an eel pie about your person? How commendable that you should research the delicacies that tickle my fancy before daring to intrude upon my most ponderous of ponderings. Speaking of ponderous, well, I was speaking of it at least. I have a hefty purse of gil to persuade you to relinquish your claim on that pastry. The culinarian Opilona would have you believe her homemade eel pie is more delicious than Mother Mayuan's realm-famous handmade eel pie. One moment, if you will. I've been instructed by a Melvin's Gate assessor to hand over this message whoever delivers an eel pie to Master Jijiruju. Take the purse you've received from Master Jijiruju and hand it to the dancer Eldgith as she prepares to return home. Kalaya. Yes, if you're looking for a dancer, then I would first see a coin. I have 3 children to feed and no time to waste on idle chat.
The purse filled to the bursting with gil.
Ah, my, that is quite a purse. My precious darlings will eat like kings for a week this week. And such a simple job as well. I was told to expect you to see. In return for the coin, I'm going to give you these. The leather satchel is from your Makote friend, and the Perro is from me. That last time you were delivered to Durago, the warehouse foreman.
I ain't got time for the likes of you. If you ain't get me work squared away soon, the master will have me head on a pike. You got something for me, you say?
A colorful cotton undergarment worn for countless summers by the dancer Eldgith.
Hey, now ain't this Eldgith's Pero? That Makoti lad said someone would bring me a gift where I couldn't refuse, and stick me with a pitchfork if she weren't telling the gods our own truth. Hey, you're supposed to have this bottle of wine. Dig the blind shark and pour a cup for the sailors what drinking there. That's what she told me to tell ye, any road. I'd watch me back if I were you, though, son. Them sailors are the meanest bunch of cutthroats I ever did see.
You want me to taste your wine, eh? Well, no, I ain't the one to pass up free grog.
Wine or so old, none alive can remember when it was bottled. The cork appears to still be intact.
Limnians, teats! Now that is a bloody fine drop. If we ship this stuff to the east, we'll be selling bottles by the crate. You're coming with us back to the Morning Star. The captain will want to have a word with ye. There's a good lad. And as for ye, Miss Statue, you stick close to old Hishkrat. It gets damn cold on them long sea voyages.
Shh, we'll talk later.
You ready then? We'll be off as soon as the boat's loaded. Ah, fine grog and a fine woman. The captain will be pleased with this haul.
Pray do not stare so. This was the most expedient method of gaining access to the ship. I'll take that satchel from you now. You may have it back after I take the items I need.
What mischief are you two about?
I was merely borrowing some clothes. You wouldn't wish me to catch a chill from this brisk ocean air, would you?
You'll be dancing yourself warm once we get to the ship, lass. You better slip off that ratty robe before you meet the captain.
Of course, of course.
I'll be happy to show you him the performance that awaits.
That bitch Admiral's lapdog. Come back for that lesson, have ye?
It is I who shall be teaching this day. My lecture will focus on the manipulation of reality through applied strategy.
Enough of this damn yapping. By the time I'm done with you, you'll remember who your real master is.
Ray, this geometry will turn the tide of the battle.
By ye worthlessly slugs, I'll add a key out of the lot of thee. You rabid little cur!
Numbers matter not. It is strategy that will win this battle. Prepare yourself, Dazmaga. With your defeat, I will cast off the shackles you closed on my soul.
You think so, eh? Think your fancy magics are a match for me blade? You've got another thing coming.
The brutalized crew is not up to the task, Dazmaga. I calculate our odds of victory of 99%.
So you can handle a few deck scrags. The axe will carve your pretty plans into bloody ruin.
Dazmaga now faces defeat. He will flee to the starboard rail. Obvious. Next comes his attempt to escape into the sea.
You think you're pulling my strings, do you? Think I'll dance to your tune? Well, I ain't falling for your bloody tricks.
It is at this moment he notices the yellow jackets I had you summon in my explicit instructions to Rilzern.
You're a fool to return, Dazmaga. I heard you found the shackles, so we brought a set specially for you.
thus concludes today's lecture. Thank you, Raid. This strategy would have not succeeded without your flawless execution. Which suggests that my tactics yet require more work. One must allow for some small deviation in performance. I believe, however, that I now understand where my calculations went awry. It is not enough to wish to shape reality. One must also have a complete understanding of the reality one wishes to obtain. It is time I sought out our guildmaster. Pray convey to Mr. Starbajim my fondest wishes and my appreciation for all that she has done for me. The true test of my strategies now begins. Welcome back, Ray. There's much I would ask you, but first, may I have the statue you received during your assignment? The veil of mystery surrounding this otherwise ordinary sack is so thick it could suffocate an aurochs. The original owner needs her costume back, you see. I'll make sure everything is returned safe and sound. Now let us speak of Kalaya. I am glad to know that she has finally freed herself to pursue her heart's desire, and that you are to thank for awakening the Foreseer to her self-imposed fetters. The brilliance of Kalaya's strategies served to blind her to her own feelings, and it pained me to see her suffer so. Your example may even encourage Kalaya to improve her capabilities, although such will surely come in time after all. After all, she intends to study under the Guildmaster's direct instruction. Imagine those two obsessive Arcanists and the complexity of the tactics they will develop. It may very well be that your actions in bringing them together will prove the catalyst that sparks a new era in the invention of the art of Arcanima. You too should look to the improvement of your discipline if you are to keep pace with all that is certain to follow. To that end, I offer you a new technique, one I pray allows you to more readily drive back your foes on the battlefield.